People keep asking me about the. People keep asking me about the plane crash stuff. I have no idea what the happened there. There was a thing that I saw, but I don't see anybody else talking about it, so I don't know what. I don't know what happened yet. That's like a very scary plane crash, though, because usually when you hear about plane crashes, it's like a small random island in the middle of nowhere or another country that has like shoddy airplane things, like safety things, or like weird like single propeller jet engines. But like that was a full on commercial flight that crashed like over DCA, and that's just that's just crazy. American Airlines, like I fly AA out of DCA a lot. That's just like crazy. I was gonna say the thing that I saw happened referenced one time, but I don't know if I don't know if there's any truth to this. Is that supposedly in 2019 there was a rule change that allowed things that allowed aircraft to turn off like identifying transponders if they were on a mission where the location data was sensitive to the mission. And that was a rule that in 2019 that changed. I don't know if that was relevant here or not. Obviously, I see everybody talking about DEI or lack of DEI or Trump cutting funding or something like that. But it wasn't? Okay, then maybe that had nothing to do with it. I don't know. Oh, wait, somebody else linked to this. What would you tell a foreigner, Irish, planning to move to the USA but hates the current president? Good luck. This guy goes over it with audio and plane tracking. New rule allows military aircraft to turn off ADS-B transmissions. I don't know if this would have impacted or not, though, so. I've also heard things about they're not, like, normally two air traffic controllers would have been controlling the traffic at that time, and there was only one person doing it, so I'm not sure.
Here's what happened.
I also heard, though, this is getting like this is like crazy conspiracy. And I don't know if the personal details are confirmed. But I did see that there was a video where the air traffic controller who was monitoring the traffic, that supposedly his daughter had like just died. I think like within the last couple of weeks to a heroin overdose. And that he was so distraught because of his daughter's death that he like couldn't do the air traffic stuff. I guess. I don't know if anybody... That's a Breaking Bad reference, okay. All right, we get it, okay, Mr. Airplane Shirt.
Here's what happened last night. I'm able to secure the actual audio from the incident over the Potomac last night. Let's listen in together.
Yeah, 789, contact Belfast, good day. Okay. American 3130 for the final.
You're going to see a back and forth now between Reagan Tower and the various aircraft that they have lined up on approach into the airport. This happened at about 8:46 p.m. Last evening, and you can see there's several airplanes lined up. That's typical coming in about that time of night at Reagan. They're talking to American Airlines 3130. Which I think is number 2 for the runway. They're telling them to slow down to their final approach speed because they're separating everybody on the way in. It's going to turn out that American 3130 is a key player in what happens here.
Rip.
Well, American 3130. Pat 25, traffic just off the Wilson Bridge is CRJ.
Pat 25 is the helicopter that ran into the CRJ 700. It was a PSA flight. The flight number is 5342. It would go under the call sign Blue Streak 5342. You don't ever hear them talking to tower. They've already been cleared to land on runway 33. So they would come in on an approach on runway 1, and then they would kind of circle the land on runway 33. It's a little shorter runway, but they...
Here's a simulation of what data we have from the helicopter's POV. It seems like an insane human error. So like it could be insane human error, but the thing is, when it comes to like air traffic control stuff, it should take a lot of human error to make a crash happen. Like one person messing up a little bit or even quite a bit shouldn't cause, there's so many like safeties and fail safes in terms of like where people are positioned in the sky and everything else. Like there should, like just one thing shouldn't cause, or even several things shouldn't cause like a crash to happen.
take some of the regional jets and they put them on that runway. Pat 25 is the Black Hawk helicopter that is just south of the...
Listen, I'm only going to say this once, and I've got other shit I can work on today off stream. If my chat's going to be spammed all day with this, I cannot watch that content nuke until tomorrow. Tomorrow I might go over it, please. I understand Ethan is posting a big thing on Hassan today. I'll watch it tomorrow if you want. Otherwise, if you guys want to watch it, then I'll just quit stream and you can host somebody to watch it, okay? But stop, please do not fucking spam my chat all fucking day with this, okay? I understand there's a big Ethan nuke going live. I cannot watch it as it premieres, okay? We'll go over it tomorrow. Or, yeah, good luck.
Is the Black Hawk helicopter that is just south of the Woodrow Bridge, and they're they've just taken off. They're airborne. The tower is saying to them, there's traffic. It's a CRJ. It's at 1,200 feet, lined up for runway 33. Do you have that traffic? Pat 25 is going to call back and say yes.
It's 1,200 feet, start runway 33.
Pat 25 says, has the traffic in sight, request visual...
Wait, why not genuine breaking news thing? Because it's mean to leech views off of day one of the vid. You should let the vid get everything at least for 24 hours.
Separation. What that means is that they're going to take responsibility for visual separation from that aircraft. What happened? Here's what I think happened. This is not the final word on it, but what I think happened was it was at night. There's several airplanes lined up. There is that Blue Streak 5342, which is a CRJ that they ran into. Right behind them, just a...
Can you think of any Biden or Obama examples of where they use tragedy to push a political belief? I keep on having retarded centrists saying both sides use tragedy to push it. Okay, two things on this. One, Democrats do this with school shootings and shootings in general, right? Two, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with using a tragedy to push a thing that is related to the tragedy. I think that's totally fine. Sometimes people will say like, oh, like the bodies aren't even cold yet. But like by that time, nobody gives a fuck anymore. Like it's if there's something horrific that happens and you can use that horrific event to further some type of regulation or rule that would prevent that thing from happening again, that's totally fine. Now, when it's totally unrelated, that's incredibly gross and disgusting. So anybody blaming this immediately on like DEI or white people or whatever is super gross, I think. Unless it ends up being a DEI pilot that got in or whatever, in which case, then fucking go for it, I guess. Yeah.
5342, which is a CRJ that they ran into. Right behind them, just a few miles, is American 3130. Everybody has their lights on as they're coming in. I believe the helicopter looked at the American 3130 and said, I've got the traffic in sight, and they never saw the airplane, the CRJ that was right next to them. That's my conjecture on what happens.
Separation proof. American 1630 Tower, runway 1 off wood, traffic through outside runway 33, dispatch 16 off funnel.
So this is typical stuff that's going on in a busy airport. They're lining somebody up to take off. They're saying, pay attention. I'm going to give you an immediate takeoff here. I've got traffic lining up for runway 33. That's the CRJ that got ran into. And he's on a 6-mile final. It might be somebody even behind him, but they're lining everybody up to take off and to land.
Whiskey 5307. Keep rolling out to November, South 47 today.
You can see at the bottom of your screen there, the CRJ, the Blue Streak 5342. They're beginning to now kind of come out a little bit to line up to runway, to land on runway 33. They're not going to go right straight down the river. They got to come out a little bit wider.
From the simulation video plus audio, it seems like the entire crew of the helicopter spotted another separate plane, a bit off, but in the same area of the one they eventually crashed into, and only realized the mistake after the crash. It's not helped that the helicopter pilots had less field of view because of the NVG goggles. So I could be wrong here, but just I've had friends who are helicopter pilots in the past. I don't know, maybe this isn't relevant, but like my understanding is that like none of this should have anything to do with like visual sightings of anything. Your instrument panel should show you everything. There should never need to be the spotting of a plane. Like, oh, there's a plane. Like everything should show up on your instrument cluster. So I don't know if wearing NVGs or anything else should like, you should be able to land, take off, I don't know about take off, maybe like literally blind, like on instrument only. So yeah, I don't, especially with an air traffic control tower here, you literally have a cheat code. You've got a map hack guy who's telling you where everything is. Like, hey, plane coming here, plane there. Do you know it? So, yeah. He requested visual separation. He's using his eyes in this case. Oh, okay. They were flying VFR and requested visual separation. Oh, VFR. What does that mean? stands for Visual Flight Rules, which are, oh, I'm reading an AI thing. Hold on, sorry. Okay, I've never even heard of this before, so one sec. Visual flight rules are the rules that govern the operation of aircraft in visual meteorological conditions in which flight solely by visual reference is possible. Because of the limited communications and navigation equipment required for VFR flight, a VFR aircraft may be subject to limitations, and when it is permitted in controlled airspace, any conditions are detailed. Oh, okay. Damn, that sounds really scary. Another issue, there's like 2 or 3 big things to just like keep in mind, like random shit. A lot of what you see for reality and a lot of what you feel for reality relies on you like walking on the ground and being in ordinary conditions. So 2 big things that this is impacted for. One is like your sense of falling or your sense of orientation is very, very, very hard in an airplane and especially in a helicopter. Like if you close your eyes and you try to steady yourself on the stick, like you might be like literally almost like on your side and not realize it at all. Your eyes do a whole bunch to keep you balanced that you don't realize you take for granted. That's one thing. And then a second thing is when it comes to like figuring out the size of things, you feel like you can look at a thing and know like, oh yeah, I can see how big that is. But your brain is doing so much work to compare things in the background and the foreground and the side and like using context clues to figure out how big something is. So like when you're in the sky and all of those like orientation cues are gone and then you just see a thing, I think it's probably a lot harder to tell like, okay, I have no, like it's an airplane. It could be like, it could be kind of close or really far. It feels like it'd be a lot harder. Now, obviously people that fly will know this better. And if there are visual flight rules, then clearly there are people that do this, but especially at night, this sounds super spooky. Holy shit. But
and come in. But remember, Pat 25, which is up here, the helicopter at the middle of your screen, they've already said we.
You ever been above cloud drop down, and then realize you're like 150 feet from the ground? That's pretty spooky. Yeah, there's that one SR 57 Blackbird. Wait, is that right? Am I making that number up? (72, 71, 57. What the fuck is 57? SR-71. I don't know if the story is true or not, but there's a story of the guy who was like dropping basically, and then he comes below the clouds, and then he checks his instrument gauge, and he's like, "Oh shit, we're like about to crash into the ground." I didn't even realize it. Yeah. So, but
accept responsibility for visual separation.
American 16, turn to 1 star, 32014, Galaxy 5, traffic 2 mile elevation, runway 33, no delay, runway 15 for immediate
Clears
takeoff.
American to take off.
Clear for takeoff, American 1630.
the reason you don't feel anything in the sky is because velocity is relative and your body only feels acceleration. That's true as well. You cannot feel speed, because if you did, we would be screaming right now, ah, all of us, because we're like moving at 1 billion miles per hour because the planet is spinning and it's revolving around the sun and we're shooting through the Milky Way and our galaxy is shooting through the fucking universe. But you only feel acceleration, which is a change in velocity. So, right.
Number 1, clear for takeoff, American 1630.
Here it comes. Now the tower is seeing what's happening, and they're saying, "Do you have the CRJ in sight? Because you guys are getting kind of close." And the Pat 25, the helicopter, says once again, "Yeah," and I'm asking for visual separation. Okay, the responsibility is on you then.
Pat 25, pass on is CRJ.
This club has a aircraft in sight. Request visual separation.
Okay, so Pat 25 says, "Has the aircraft in sight? Request visual separation." I don't think they had these guys in sight. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially near a runway, how do you ever confirm that you're looking at the same planes that they're specifying on the ATCT? How would you even know? I'm sure they must have some way of doing it. But like, there's like planes coming out. It's like, do you see the plane? Like, yeah, I see it. And it's like, but it's that one, not the one that we're about to crash. I don't know, maybe.
I think they had the airplane behind them in sight. That's why this is such a tragedy.
Somebody said VFR is common for military aircraft or hobby flying. It gives you a bit more freedom to do stuff as needed. For military aircraft, I can imagine that because those pilots probably have a lot more maneuverability, are a lot more skilled, and are a lot more used to flying absent in ATCT, right? Because they're flying in spaces where they're not always getting an air traffic control tower to direct traffic. For hobby flying, I could understand that too, because hobbyists don't fly at commercial altitudes usually, right? Like, what is the altitude that like a Cessna gets up to? I'm saying that because it's the only fucking small plane I know. But like there must be a ceiling where hobbyists don't fly above like 10,000 feet or something. I don't know how high like those planes get. So they can probably do, you know, a lot more. This was a training flight for the heli as well, so it could have been a new pilot. It seems that just my vibe check on that is that seems crazy that you would be like, we're going to go practice near a commercial airfield. But
They had the airplane behind them in sight. That's why this is such a tragedy.
what a horrible way to die, trapped in a plane in freezing cold water. Jesus, ugh. If it makes you feel any better, my guess is that generally these people will die either on impact in the air, or they'll die on impact when they hit the water. When you're hitting water at those speeds coming out of the sky, it's basically like crashing into solid ground anyway. I seriously doubt there's anybody in the like plane like drowning in the water. Like those people died either on impact or on impact in the ground, one of the two.
I don't think they had these guys in sight. I think they had the airplane behind them in sight. That's why this is such a tragedy.
American 4782 by Batten now for an visual.
American 472, Austin Tower, 1 star, 32017.
So you hear somebody in the tower go, oh, and they see what just happened. As you can see in your screen here, the collision took place. The tower has seen it happen in real time. They're human beings. They're reacting just like you and I would. The helicopter ran into the CRJ. The CRJ's airspace was their airspace. In front of them, behind them, on both sides of them, it was a responsibility of the helicopter to maintain visual separation. They even told him a couple times, do you got him in sight? Do you got him in sight? He said, yep, got him in sight. I'm accepting responsibility for the separation. And I think just like when you're driving in a car and you look and you see a car behind the one that almost hit you, you see that car and you didn't see the one right here. And when you turn out in front, sometimes there's a collision. It's really tragic when this happens in an airplane. Again, it's
This was the clip posted on CNN. Apparently they've taken it down now, but Jesus. Again, I don't know, because I don't have the background to say like one of the things, I'm sorry, I need to detail my thought process more. When I say I don't know, what I'm saying is that there are some things that intuitively feel wrong to me, but I don't actually have any of the intuitions because I haven't studied or researched any of this. So like, I'll say that like, this feels wrong. Like, I don't know why you would ever be practicing flights in front of an landing pad or landing strip or an airport like this. This seems crazy to me, but maybe there's a really good reason and I'm just ignorant of it. Like maybe the fact that this is over water and this place is cleared for these training missions, especially just because maybe that's why they do it versus over here. Maybe there are really good reasons for this, but it just seems crazy to me that just intuitively it just feels crazy that like hitting stuff in space in 3 dimensions is also like significantly harder. Like even if you're trying to, it's significantly harder because you don't have just your height and width, or well, I'm sorry, I guess it's hitting something in 2 dimensions as opposed to 1 dimension. When you're driving a car, you're generally just hitting something in 1 dimension, right? You're going left or right and then hitting it. But then in space, it's like 2 dimensions. You're going left, right, up and down. And like to hit something in the sky and to make like a direct hit, that's just wild, bro. Damn, and this is like a direct fucking 9/11 fucking Allah Akbar like explosion. Jesus, that's like insane. Did everybody in the helicopter die as well? No one survived? Yeah. Jeez. X, Y, and Z, it's 3 dimensions. And so in a car, you're generally just like moving, your steering wheel is just giving you basically one dimension of control. You've got a line that you can move across. You're never moving your car like up and down, right? Well, unless you have sick hydraulics, you're just going left and right. And then when you're flying, you can move left, right, and up and down, I guess. So you kind of have like 2 dimensions of space that you're steering through. You're traveling through 3 dimensions, or 4 if you want to space time it up and go relativity, but Driving would be 2 axes. Well, I mean, if you count going forward, but you're typically not like going forward and backwards. You're just going, usually you're going pretty steady in one direction. Or you're going pretty steady forward at like a set speed. Don't you think there would be some predetermined altitudes that all aircraft stick to, like 300 feet, 1,000 feet, etc.? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe. Can we blame this on Trump? I know people were memeing about him cutting funding / staffing, but it sounds like it was the helicopter pilot. I have no idea, honestly. I don't know enough about this to know who could be blamed or whatever. Did I move, or what's the new setup? My computer used to be set up in the room back there, but now I moved over to this room. This is the room that Molino was set up in before.
It's been decades since there's been a mid-air collision in this country. This is such an unusual circumstance to take place. It's such a tragedy. It's been 12 years since there's been a fatality in a commercial airliner here in the United States. That's unprecedented. And that wasn't a mid-air collision. That was just an accident. This is a mid-air collision, and this hasn't happened in forever. So now we know what's going on here. Pat 25, the helicopter, accepted responsibility for visual separation. They probably had their eyes on the airplane behind them, and then they tragically ran into these guys.
Did you see that? 472. American 3130, go around turn left in 250, climb maintain 3000.
So now what happens from the tower's perspective is they have to work through denial pretty fast. They just saw this happen in real time in front of them. They're human beings like the rest of us. They're kind of in shock. But they've still got airplanes coming in. They've got American Airlines 1630, which just took off. They've got to hand them off to departure. They got American 3130 that's coming in. They got American 472 behind them. They got to do something with these airplanes. Right? The airplane port is going to be shut here in a second. So they're going to start telling all these guys to go around while they're trying to handle the emergency and get the emergency equipment out. And all of that is, everybody's kind of in a little fog for a few seconds here while all of this is taking place. The tragedy of it hits you hard. And they're very professional. Watch how they handle this. But man, they're busy.
I've heard that air traffic controllers are like some of the most professional people like in the universe. Like you have to be like, you have to consider that you're directing traffic for vehicles that are carrying hundreds of people, and you can't just stop. You can't be like, fuck, I need a moment. Like there are planes and people, souls that are like relying on you to, that's just an unbelievable amount of responsibility. Jesus.
Busy.
Okay, left heading 350, 3000, American 3130.
Tower Boost Streak 5347 is on final. Request runway 33, circle to 33.
I'm heading for American 3130.
American 3130, go around turn left in 270, climb maintain 3000.
270 on the heading, 3000.
See how fast he's talking? He's trying to get all these other airplanes out of here.
Crash. This is alert 3. Crash.
Okay, what's MWAA? It's the Metro Washington Airport Authority. Every airport has some sort of governing authority over it. Many times it's called the Port Authority. Up in Boston, it's Mass Port, right? In New York, it's the Port Authority. Down here in Washington, it's the Metro Washington Airport Authority. They're now announcing officially there's a crash. So they go over the radio and they broadcast to everybody. The tower is the main recipient of this, that there's been a crash. He's going to repeat that. That puts a whole bunch of things into motion all at the same time. The fire crews now are going to jump in their uniforms. They're going to get in their fire trucks. They're going to drive to where the crash is. There's going to be details about this coming. But this whole thing is very frenzied and happens very fast. But these are really highly trained professionals. They do a really terrific job.
Alert 3. Crash. This is alert 3.
And alert 3 is a crash.
Oh, shit. Where's the alert 3? It is off the approaching the runway 33. Approaching the runway 33. Helicopter crash. Copy, after 20. Crash. Alert 3. 2 helicopters.
Okay, so again, fog of war. The first report that they get is that it's 2 helicopters. They're going to clarify this really quickly because the tower's talking back and forth, and the tower's going to say, nope, it was a CRJ and a helicopter. So they get this, it's cleared up pretty fast.
Well, helicopter CRJ approaching runway 33.
That's really fast.
It's a popular meme for CS majors to be homeless because the job market is hard, but I can't really see any consistency on the unemployment rate. Here, ask me that. Or here, I'll copy this. Sorry.
The
finish this.
3-3, mile off 5. Correct. Kilo CRJ, first and 3-3. Okay. How many totals on board? We don't have any that information. I was reporting a CRJ and helicopter crash.
So they're passing the information back and forth to the first responders who need it. Everybody's trying to clarify while they're jumping in their trucks and they're heading out there. Now they know exactly where they're going. It's the approach into runway 33. It's somewhere in the Potomac. Now they're going to have to coordinate boats and other things. Eventually they're going to get helicopters involved.
Can we go ahead and hold all operations until we have emergency units respond? We're going to go ahead and show air drone close.
They might close the airport so they can.
Yeah, that's perfect. All operations are closed.
Everything's closed.
And everybody just hold your positions, please, on the field right now.
Okay, so this is the ground controller. Now, the ground controller is the one that's going to get all these trucks going where they need to go. But the ground controller needs to stop all the airplanes. So she just makes a blanket broadcast. Everybody stop right where you are. Every once in a while, you kind of half hear that, and then you say, okay, I'm sorry. And there's also people asking to be released from their gate to go. They're not into what's going on yet because they just put their headsets on, and they're just getting ready to go. One aircraft's going to ask to do this, and she's just going to say, everybody stop.
Delta 438, ready taxi.
Everyone's going to have to hold for down. I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Fire command, the accident happened in the river. Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river. It's east of the approach into runway 33.
It's amazing to me how much clarity they have about actually what happened and where it happened. And many times in an accident like this, it takes 5 to 10 minutes just to get everything sorted out. They're very good here at getting it all very concise, and so the response time was phenomenal on this.
Is the airfield closed?
Yes, the airfield is closed. The airfield is closed.
Runway 12?
And ARF is the aircraft rescue and firefighters. That's the actual fire chief that's in the fire truck. He's asking, is the airport closed and are the runways closed as well? That way he can expedite getting out there. He doesn't have to stop and ask, can I cross this runway? Can I go on that taxiway? She's about to tell him the whole place is shut down. You go. You own the airport now.
All runways are closed. Nobody's landing. No one's moving at all.
And we have clearance for all taxiways.
Yes, you have clearance to the whole field. All taxiways and runways.
So basically she's saying to these guys, go. And at that moment, the fire trucks take off. What we know about the accident at this point is that there were no survivors. It's now a recovery operation. That's the sad part about all of this, and that's the part that really hits us hard right here. But I know you wanted to hear what happened and maybe my response to how they handled this emergency and what led to it. It looks pretty clear at this point that the helicopter had accepted visual separation. That's
I might have a phone call I have to take. Otherwise, not yet.
when they make that call, when they're clear for that, they said, yep, we've got the airplane in sight. And the airplane they had in sight was the wrong airplane. There was another one in between that and the one that they were looking at.
Jesus.
And sadly, they ran into that aircraft. So folks, we're hoping that this never happens again. I know that my annual training, I will certainly get some training on avoiding mid-air collisions I have over my career, but they will refresh this as more details about this situation comes out. And the really wonderful part about that is they share all of the information they get the FAA with every other airline around the planet, so we all can avoid having a tragedy like this happen in the future. We will train to make sure that this never happens again. Well, there you go. Sorry for this, but pray for these people. Right? I'm Captain Steve, and I'll see you.
Fuck, I don't know if I even want to say this. I don't ever want to defend the Trump admin. For people saying that like making cuts to safety means that you should be blamed for something like this, remember, technically things can always be made more safe by hiring like infinitely more people, but you're always balancing cost with safety. Like you could hire 5 times as many ATCT people and maybe never ever have a plane crash ever happen again, but like you're always balancing resources. So I don't know if Trump made bad cuts or tried to, or if there were bad hiring freezes. It's possible. Like if somebody was warning against it, then sure. Now those warnings need to be well founded and not just people who are just trying to protect their jobs as well, but that's just like a thing to keep in mind, you know? Okay. Somebody asked real quick about the computer science thing. Just real quick, try to get used to navigating this website. The BLS is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is the government website that just keeps track of like all the data relating to like jobs. It's just good to be able to navigate this website because it helps you, like rather than having to read reports from people sourcing this or cherry picking from this, you can just check here. I think we could probably look for, I'm not even great at navigating this fucking website. Hold on. So if I were to search for like unemployment, computer science, this is not what I'm looking for. Wait, hold on. Jesus Christ. Sorry, fuck. I might get a call in like 20 seconds. No, I don't think I am. Okay. I have a call at 6:45. Don't let me forget. Okay, wait. I'm trying to find the big, where's like the big database? Like with all the employment and wages data viewer. Is it this? Wait, but there's like a nicer, think there's a nicer chart for this. Can't find computer science. This chart? Yeah, but how do you get there from the website? I should be able to like navigate to this. What do I click on the website to get to this chart? National Employment Matrix. I don't know what these jobs are called, if it's programmer or software something or... Oh, this is, okay, so this... I don't even know what these numbers are called, but I have to give them when I fill my taxes out sometimes. There are these like subdivisions of how the, is it the IRS or maybe the BLS and IRS track labor? But this looks like the total employment, and then it subdivides. This is the total. Oh, NAICS. Actually, I think it's that number. Wait, I feel like they asked me that. What's your NAICS code? North American Industry Classification. Yeah, that's it. But you can look at, so I think this should be all computer programmers and like all the subdivisions of that. And you can look at the total employment across the board, and you can see, let's see, does this include unemployment on this graph? It doesn't. Fuck me, I suck at this. Based. Okay, I'll learn this off stream. Fuck. Because I should be better. I should be able to show you guys how to do this. Just linking me is not helping me. I want to show people how to navigate the site. So just giving me a link to a thing is not helping. But okay, I'll do this after stream. Okay. Wait, I need to put this on my fucking... But anyway, sorry, the short form, the answer to your question, I'm trying to show you how to find the answer. But the answer is computer science people have incredibly low unemployment right now. They're doing very, very, very well in the economy. Anybody that tells you different is just, they got high off the heyday of like 2021, 2022, where they were insanely overhired and insanely overcompensated. And then when companies started to cut back to more realistic levels, they got super ass-bane about it. And now they're like mad about people, yeah. Or they wanted to go back to that, but it probably won't. You might not be able to use it soon. Wait, what? Trump officials are putting a pause on most federal government websites. They're expected to go dark at 5 p.m., Trump officials told me. Okay. We'll see what happens there. Okay. This is 4 years old, but it's relevant to the plane shit, apparently.
This is Ipley Cross in the middle of New Forest in southwest England. I couldn't find any official statistics for the most dangerous crossroads in Britain, but this is certainly a contender. Because even though it's quiet and rural here, there's not much traffic. There's an average of 2 incidents a year here. 2 cyclists have died in the last 10 years in near identical crashes. Both times, a driver failed to stop and hit a cyclist who had right-of-way on the main road. But the visibility is excellent here. It's well signed. Actually, really, really well signed. Down here, it's obvious there's a lot of road markings for such a rural junction, but people keep getting hurt here. So why is it so bad? For the research here, I'm indebted to someone called Bez. That's the only name I could find. I couldn't track them down. They didn't reply to messages, but Bez wrote the definitive article on why this place is such a disaster. Let's say there's a driver approaching on the side road at around 40 miles an hour. They're not slowing down because they're reckless, and they can see the main road is clear. Here's their view. The cyclist until the very last second, because they're reckless, and they can see the main road is clear. Here's their view. The cyclist until the very last second was exactly in the blind spot caused by the driver's door pillar.
Oh shit, that's wild.
The driver didn't slow down for the stop sign, which would have shown them the cyclist. They didn't move their head, which would have shown them the cyclist. The speed involved doesn't have to be some magic bad number. Because of the angle of these roads, for every possible speed that a reckless driver might be travelling at, there is a reasonable speed for a cyclist on the main road that will keep them right in that blind spot all the way. But why won't the cyclist see the car? They have right of way, yes, but surely they'd notice that the car's not slowing down. Well, if these two roads were crossing at right angles to each other, yeah, they would see them. Don't get me wrong, the driver would still be reckless, but at least the cyclist would notice and be able to take evasive action. But these roads aren't at right angles. There's one other subtle thing here. In this situation, the car is approaching from behind the cyclist. The cyclist won't see it until it's too late. And even if they do, when both car and bicycle slam on their brakes, simple simulations don't work anymore, because it's not up to trigonometry at that point, it's up to human reactions and how both of them try to avoid the collision. This junction is at the worst possible angle, and it happened by accident. You can see on old maps that this was just the angle at which two paths happened to intersect, and those were the paths that happened to become roads over time. This wouldn't be built nowadays, but at some point in the early 20th century, before it was possible to travel by road at these sorts of speeds, this was a reasonable junction. The local council has made some changes, not only the paint, but you can see on Google Street View that the signs here used to be give way, not stop. Stop signs are really rare in Britain, they're only meant to be used in exceptional circumstances like this, and almost everyone rolls through them anyway. Then they're clearly not working, because people keep getting hurt. So why hasn't it been redesigned? Speed bumps or a chicane on the approach would solve the problem, but it's not legal to have those unless you also have street lighting, which would mean laying miles of new electrical cable at enormous expense. That's assuming you can get around all the regulations that define this area as a conservation area, and the objections from the locals about putting bright lighting in a place famed for its dark skies. Same problem with a traffic light. The best solution is to stagger the crossing, to curve the two side roads so they don't meet each other, but they meet the main road at right angles, force the drivers to slow down. But again, conservation area, conservative locals, and a budget estimated at around £100,000. The cheapest and easiest way to solve it, of course, would be for drivers to stop at the stop sign. But road safety and anyone's safety shouldn't require faith in human nature. Thank you to Bez, whoever you are. The research for this video started.
Damn.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site, the water?
Or to meet
You
with
want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders? Do you have a plan?
You literally accessed a government website a minute before it was eliminated. Jesus Christ, that answer. Oh, rip. Wait, did the BLS site go down? BLS is still up. The census one is down.
Plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I
first
have a plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site, the water?
Or to meet
You
with the
want me to
first.
Hi everyone, you may know that one of my favourite YouTubers is Tom Scott, and a couple of years ago he made a video about the UK's potentially most dangerous crossroads, and now it's been fixed. So as I was in the area, on
Oh, cute. They fixed it.
cyclists on the major road. The video went live on the 27th of April 2020, but even then there were plans in place to alter the junction.
Wow. Oh, that reminds me of, I was watching a thing a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, I think I mentioned this, about the world's nicest chalk, and how it was like going out of business. But apparently a guy bought this, and it's good now. I guess. Oh, this is what I watched.
These wiggly regular colours cost 400 won, and the fluorescent line costs 600 won.
A guy bought this company, and he's making the chalk again, guys. False alarm.
Typical fluorescent pigments contain harmful chemicals like formaldehyde, but Hagoromo uses premium pigments without those substances. Hagoromo has seen the demand for these colours grow as online lectures have become more popular over the last few years.
이 카메라의 색깔이 되게 잘 비춰져요. 일반 색깔보다도.
Scorching ultra hot take, by the way. If you are a teacher, learn to use technology. Like, it's literally your fucking job to teach. There's no excuse for you being unable to know how to use a computer or use a smartboard or use like a non-fucking 1962 gas-powered projector screen. You should be able to do more than just chalk on a board. Now, there might be subjects like math with a lot of symbols, although at that point, learn fucking, I don't know, latex or some bullshit. Like, the idea that like it's too hard to learn technology, I don't know. That's a little cringe to me, but... Did I get a new mic? No, but I soundproof this whole room, so it should be a lot less echoey. Okay, Bureau of Labor Statistics, CES main page. I don't know what CES means. BLS CES, current employment statistics. Oh. How do you get to there from here? Subjects? No. Home? No. Data tools? No. Publications? No. No. Could you talk about the law restricting Tennessee officials from voting on sanctuary city policy? I'll look at that. It's LaTeX, not latex. Wait, really? Okay, I don't know how to get to here from the other one. CES data dropdown. Database, top of drop-down tables, summary table B. CS data, database, top of drop-down table. Wait, data overview? These are the worst. How is it so hard to, wait, what? Hold on. CES data dropdown, database, top of dropdown tables, databases, top of dropdown tables, summary table B. Oh. If you want to know what being a streamer was like 15 years ago, by the way, it was like this. The documentation was horrible or non-existent. Tables, it says it right there in the image. This? Which image? Tables B? Summary table B? Is it this? I click on the image? Oh, there you go. Holy fucking AIDS. Main page. So, oh, hold on. Okay. Main page. Subjects, national, employment. That's how you get to the CES. There we go. And then from here, you click databases. Then we go to the tables. And then you get, there we go. Thank you. And then here is all of our by sector places. Wow. Why would you ever have a thing over here that blocks your holy fucking actual AIDS? My God. No way you remember how to navigate? I will remember this. Absolutely. This is what Trump was referring to when he called out the FAA for their DEI hiring practices to hire people with severe psychiatric and intellectual disabilities. It's real, you can't make this up. Current job listing for an air traffic controller at the FAA's website is open to people with disabilities, including psychiatric and intellectual delays. Every time you get, hold on, did they include a link to the actual thing? Anytime you don't have a link to the actual material, that should always be hyper super sus.
And I do want to point out that
the main question that you should ask here is when they're saying that they can hire people with these issues, sometimes people that hire people for these issues, it's not always a bad thing, but usually they have jobs that are, I don't want to sound mean when I say this, but jobs of low consequence. I've given this as a personal example, but like the casino that I worked at, they hired a lot of like disabled people, but they were always working at back of the house, doing like dishes and stuff like that. And it's good. It gives jobs to people that otherwise wouldn't be employed. It lets them live more independent lives. But just seeing this at a glance, I would be shocked if people with severe mental disabilities are working air traffic control tower positions. But this is linking this. Hold on.
That I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can.
Half the time I feel, God, also, Jesus Christ, bro. Tone down on the orange. This is like clown level shit makeup. Why? My president. This is my president. Bro, we don't need this. Nobody will care if you look a little old. It's fine. You're like fucking 90 years old, my dude. Jesus Christ. I like how this fucking retard, when he's speaking sometimes, it sounds like he's discovering this for the first time. Like,
prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing.
Like he's reading this for the first time. Like, wow, that's amazing. That's crazy, guys.
And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine?
Also, as 4 trillion people have posted in chat, apparently this program was Trump's own program. At news conference, Trump read a list of disabilities he calls disqualifying, but his administration started such hiring in 2019. Reading from a 2024 Fox News report, which he incorrectly identified as being 2 weeks old, Trump listed conditions that he suggested disqualify people from being ATCs, air traffic controllers, hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, blah, blah, blah. Can you imagine? He asked brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress. In the news conference, Trump said Obama weakened standards, and I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. Then they changed it back. That was Biden. Trump's claim was repeated in an executive order Trump signed during Thursday that ordered a review of aviation safety. That's false. In his first term, Trump left the standards unchanged. For air traffic controllers, the Obama administration in 2013 instituted a new hiring system that introduced a biographical questionnaire to attract minorities underrepresented in the controller corps. The program was criticized, such as in a Fox News report in 2015, as making it harder for more skilled applicants to get hired as controllers. But Trump, in his first term, left the policy in place, leading to a class action lawsuit filed in 2019 by Mountain States Legal Foundation. Moreover, the FAA under Trump in 2019 launched a program to hire controllers using the very criteria he decried at his news conference. The pilot program, the announcement said, would identify specific opportunities for people with targeted disabilities, empower them, and facilitate their entry into a more diverse and inclusive workforce. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong. Like, if you're like a person who's missing your legs, I'm sure you could probably do an air traffic controller thing. But like hearing, total deafness in both ears, there's no way they're hiring somebody like this. There's no way they're hiring somebody like this in complete paralysis. Like, do you think that they have like an actual paralyzed dude in the fucking... I don't know, man. That's funny. Destiny, I just don't understand. Please explain it. How can no one on his team tell him that it was his own term? Remember, it's not about like, it's not about how crazy is it, how can nobody know. You should probably just assume that they don't care. Because like, even if he's totally wrong on this, who cares? Like, there's not, just think of the average MAGA. Like, nobody's going to correct the record against Trump. Like, they're all just going to say like, oh, they'll repeat this point and then they move on to the next thing. Wait, hold on one sec. Oh, wow. I moved my camera again and I got even more to the left. What is happening? Bro, I can't do that. I'm not visualizing this. What the fuck? Okay, I'm to the left in the scene. So this camera needs to go more over here. This monitor is blocking it. That's okay. You can just move it. Oh, but then I get that over there. Oh, fuck. Do I just need to move my desk? Like this? But then I lose part of my bookshelf. Do I care that much? I don't care that much. Drop this a little bit? Just a little. Wait, expand this? Zoom out? Okay. I think that's good enough. All right. You don't have a gun in the background anymore. I ordered a bunch of stuff from a company called Gallo Tech. That's going to be like a... It's like a stand that allows me to like mount like things on it. So I'm hoping that I can put my pistols and my shotgun on there. But I'll have to wait till it gets here, so... That's all I can say. I don't know how this will look in the background or if it'll even fit in frame much. We'll see. Any new sanity check questions? Like, how did the first protester get into the Capitol building on J6? What do you mean? Like, for sanity check for what?
This was not just language on a Trump-era website. In fact, in 2019, under President Trump, the FAA...
You're talking about very simple questions like that, or why isn't Mike Pence running again? Well, what does that matter right now? They're in office, bro. What's the point?
launched a pilot program specifically to hire people with these so-called targeted disabilities, intellectual, psychiatric, etc., in air traffic control roles.
All right, friends, this is a surprising follow-up to a video we did yesterday, because media fact-checkers are still sorting through the stupidity and dishonesty of Donald Trump's comments.
Damn, look at the set improvements. We've got more green in the background. I feel like green is like standard for improving set design. I just personally just don't like fake plants. It's like a personal moral thing, but I think they're probably good. His lighting is tweaked a bit. Look at this. We got this red and blue shit that looks nice. Clock is centered above his head. Good lighting on him. A little bit moody and dramatic. Like, I think this could be brightened up a little bit on the left side of his face, but because this is just a very, very, very dramatic lighting. But still, overall, I like it. Very nice.
In the aftermath of the tragic DC plane crash, which killed 67 people. And they just stumbled upon one of the biggest and most humiliating fact checks I have ever seen about Donald Trump's claims that DEI policy is what got those people killed. Spoiler alert, it turns out that in 2019, when Donald Trump was president, he actually published the DEI program in question. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Folks, this is a big deal. This is huge. We talked about in a previous video, I'm just going to refresh your memory before we get to the new stuff, about a fact check that Donald Trump experienced at the time when he gave...
This is gamer aesthetic. Meh, I come from set design. Yeah, it's definitely more gamer-ish aesthetic, sure, than versus like professional studio. I think anything involving LED lights is going to come off as that more. But it's better. It's improved, I think.
Gave his first disastrous press conference. I want to remind you of what was said initially.
Don't like fake plants because Mel way overdid it with the forest full of the shit. I just personally just don't like plant aesthetic. I'm just not like a plant person. I just feel like it doesn't vibe with me or represent anything that I believe in because I'm not an outdoor person. But I feel like Mel's sense of like aesthetic and design was always really, really good. I don't think she overdid any of her stuff. I think anytime Mel is like doing anything like artistic or design wise, I think it usually looks really good.
The cited FAA text that you read is real, but the implication that this policy is new or that it stems from efforts that began under President Biden or the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demonstrably false. It's been on the FAA's website. No, it's on the website. The FAA's website. It was there in 2013. It was there for the entirety.
What I read.
It was there for the entirety of your administration too. So my question is, why didn't you change the policy during your first administration?
I did change it. I changed the Obama policy, and we had a very good policy.
So I'll play you the rest of the clip, but it doesn't matter. He actually gets triggered at this fact check, and that was NBC's Peter Alexander. So again, as a reminder,
from a set design standpoint, do you think it's worth to do what he's doing, like having the desk only a few feet from the wall so you don't need as much behind you to make it seem full, kind of waste the room? I think having space between you and the wall is always better. Having a wall right behind you always looks worse. But this wall is, like, I think it's fine. More space is always better. Or not, I'm overgeneralizing, but more space is generally better. But he's working really well with this space. But it also depends on what you want it to look like, I think.
This is true. There were DEI policies that...
Why is August withholding the Evil Mike video? I don't know. I thought it was a good talk. I actually like that guy a lot. I think he's really cool. I was glad to meet him in real life, too. It was fun.
Have been in effect since 2013 on the FAA website. That was President Obama's second.
The door is a bit of an issue in this shot. For my shot, yeah, the door fucks me really hard. The door looks horrible. I do agree with that. I can open it, but then it's just like my clothing rack. Technically, it's more interesting than just the door, I guess, but... Why do you have such a strong negative reaction to AI? Every time you Google something, you start reading the AI answer at the top, which is pretty much always correct, but you act upset and then click another link that tells you what the AI did. Why are you being such a Luddite? I don't think it usually does tell me what the AI does. I think it tries to summarize, and I think it fucks the summary up sometimes. I'm not negative to AI. I'm not against it. I just think it needs to be used as a tool, and sometimes people I think are using it a little bit like a sledgehammer. Like, if you know what you're looking for and you're using an AI to like look for something specifically, I think it could be really, really good and really powerful. But if you have no clue... I also think it's really funny that I don't even know how much of like an in joke, or maybe this wouldn't even land. It's funny that like 15 years ago, you would have made like a joke about how your mom was like Googling something, and like mom would Google and she would type like, can you show me the very best way to arrange my living room? And then you'd be like, Mom, don't be a retard. You just Google like best arrangement living room. That's what you're Google. But now, like in today's day and age, like when you're typing into AI bots and stuff, now I feel like there's going to be some fucking millennial and he's like, best living room arrangement. And there's like a Gen Z or like a Gen Alpha. And he's like, dude, no. You have to type a full sentence. There's an AI. It reads the whole thing, you dipshit. You don't have to just type in keywords. Like, this is an AOL keyword search. Leave the door open and put some light in there to make it more interesting. Yeah, but relying too much on lights is like bad. I think it's lazy aesthetic. I have a light out there though. Hold on. I do nan light in here because the metal is just better, but I use hue. Oh no, because the hue lights out there they're gonna do like a weird thing. Hold on, I'll show you. That would be the entrance room. I don't know if they'll do that weird filtering thing, but it would be entrance floor lamp 1. It's not even really aimed at the right direction. I don't give a fuck. Maybe I'll fuck with it later. I do have a lot more. I've got 2 more light sets to fuck with that I'm super excited about. Well, one I'm not as excited about, but is Pondering Politics Josiah? Yes. Who's probably one of the only people online politically that I would vouch for that gives consistently based takes. No, actually, that's not true. There's a few of them. I think Josiah, I think Pisco, I think Brian Tyler Cohen, I think all give. I haven't seen any of those people say anything super cringe yet. Pisco on his Merrick Garland shit. Pisco tries to both sides sometimes, but Hutch? Hutch seems to be fairly based, yeah. I ordered these. I have these that just got here. There's 4 of them, the 2 feet ones. So I'm excited. I think I'm probably going to set these up behind the bookshelf instead of just that one blue light. I can put one on each shelf. I don't know. We'll see. Very interesting. Let's see their Rittenhouse takes. Oh, no. Luke Beasley seems fine, just a little too soy. I haven't watched enough of Beasley's content. That's why I have no opinion on him. But I'm not like excluding him from my list because I think he's bad. I just haven't watched enough of his content. It seems to be like Everything is cool. 1K LED strips, they're bulbs. Nanlite, all of their lights are going to be very expensive. These are expensive. This is not shit I would buy if you just want to light your room. I would stick to like Hue lights. Hue lights are very expensive. You can get cheaper than Hue. But these are like, if you want to do like, what's it called? There's like it's almost a derogatory name for like a hobbyist, like professional, prosumer. Is that what it is? I don't know, actually. Maybe Nanlite. Actually, maybe you could call this professional gear for Nanlite. But this is like at the very least like prosumer stuff. But the hardware is very, very, very good. The app is very, very, very Chinese, unfortunately. But the hardware is amazing.
In term, but those policies were in effect during the Trump administration. We talked about this. That's not what we're about to talk about. It goes beyond that. There's actually a bigger...
Why Nanlite over Aperture? Aperture is better control sync for the app. So I hear that Aperture has a better app because the Nanlite one, it is just the most Chinese app in the world. I don't know how else to explain it. If you've used Chinese apps, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's very Chinese, very annoying, but it works. Aperture is the other brand that I hear suggested alongside Nanlite. I don't think anybody would ever fault you for getting Aperture. I don't think anybody would fault you for getting Nanlite. You just tend to get sucked into a certain ecosystem. And unless you're using DXM or... I think DXM is what I'm thinking, where you wire it all together using another standard that I've never used before. I think you can go one or the other. But Aperture is also supposed to be very, very, very good.
Those policies were in effect during the Trump administration.
Mike Israel, I want to say that interview, what the fuck? Yeah, it's done. I gave it to August like a week ago, but I think he's been scared of publishing it because he doesn't want to get fucked. Because for some reason, I have a lot of negative comments on my YouTube for the past few weeks. I'm not sure why, but...
We talked about this. That's not what we're about to talk about. It goes beyond that. There's actually a bigger deal than even that.
Is it DMX, not DXM? DMX, my bad.
Just as a reminder, some of those DEI policies that Trump was quoting were actually there during his administration. They continued under his administration, and he didn't repeal or rescind them. Okay, so that was the first fact check, which was pretty bad. This one is a hell of a lot worse and a hell of a lot more embarrassing. So as a reminder, this is what Donald Trump said. He quotes a very specific DEI program, verbatim, and we'll get into it. But here's the quote from Trump.
But we'll restore faith in American air travel. I'll have more to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior
Are you going to watch the content nuke? I will watch it tomorrow. When can we get the real Destiny gym arc? You're never consistent with your lifting. True, but I haven't been going to the gym recently. Well, I'm probably going to... My streams might just start late every day because I don't give a fuck because now I'm maximizing my physical health. Because just in case I have to fight off multiple assailants, so we'll see, but...
My entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push.
Oh shit! One more minor random thing. Generally, when a person tells me like, "Oh, did you know this weird thing about stretching or lifting?" 99% of the time, it's some bullshit, stupid advice. I had some friend tell me that sometimes it's not actually your hamstrings that are short; it's some giant nerve that connects them. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure, buddy. And they're like, oh, no, seriously. So like, can you touch your toes? And it's like, right now I can't. I have very little flexibility right now because I haven't been going to the gym for that long again. And I can't touch my toes at all. And they're like, well, if you lift one of your knees and you bend the leg, you can actually completely touch your toe. It's actually super easy. And I'm like, okay, I don't think so. And I tried it. And holy fuck, you absolutely can. Is that normal? I haven't looked into this at all yet. Is that an ordinary thing? My mind was fucking blown. Yeah, the sciatic nerve. What the fuck does that even mean? Holy shit. I was like, wait, what the fuck? So now I don't even know what I'm stretching when I stretch a thing. What do you have to do with your knee? I don't know, you just bend it. Sciatic? Sciatic? Is it sciatic or sciatic? Do a cardboard cutout of the closed door, put Joe there to motivate you? Based.
Appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was on January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions. And their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress where you have many, many planes coming into one target. And you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little dot.
So we could go on.
Thoughts on work ethic, how to improve work ethic. I don't think my work ethic is bad, but I'm in uni and I feel like I'm not doing enough. Is this a normal feeling or does it even matter? Because Trump might sanction my country and won't be able to pay for anything mechanic. Find a friend to hold you accountable. Study together. Good luck.
But he's reading a policy. He's reading a program. This is where it gets so much more embarrassing for Trump. So, as the Washington Post is reporting, Trump launched the Air Controller Diversity Program he now decries. That whole spiel he gave, and we'll bring the receipts, it was launched by Trump in 2019. It wasn't just that he inherited it from President Obama. He launched a separate Air Controller Diversity Program whose text he is reading verbatim. Here's, spoiler alert, Thursday, April 11, 2019, the FAA provides aviation careers to people with disabilities. The FAA today announced a pilot program, today, April 11, 2019. So it wasn't an old program from President Obama. It was a pilot program that launched that day during the Trump administration to help prepare people with disabilities for a career in air traffic operations. And so again, we'll get into the article. It's just so, this is humiliating. It's not just that he didn't do what he said that he did during the press conference. And it's not even as bad as the initial fact check was actually, no, you didn't do that. You continued these programs you inherited from President Obama. It's that he launched separately the very sort of program he's now bitching about. So, we'll read. At a news conference, Trump read a list of disabilities he calls disqualifying, but his administration started such hiring in 2019. Oh my God. Reading from a 2024 Fox News report, which he incorrectly identified as being 2 weeks old, Trump listed conditions that he suggested disqualify people from being air traffic controllers. And again, you heard it. Hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, etc. and so forth. But can you imagine, he asked, brilliant people have to be in those positions, and those lives are actually very substantially shortened because of the stress. He suggested that it was wrong for anyone with these conditions to qualify for the positions of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little dot in the map, a little runway. But here's the rub. During Trump's first term, the FAA began a program to hire air traffic controllers with the conditions Trump decried. Oh my God. Again, so Trump's claim was repeated in an executive order Trump signed on Thursday that ordered a review of aviation safety. During my first term, my administration raised...
Would you be open to doing this type of content like Josiah? Maybe. I don't know. Now I'm floating in the ethers again, figuring out what I want to do. Because my DNC stuff is obviously on hold for a little bit, at least. I feel like we need some kind of positivity stuff, though. Because I feel like just covering every single day... I don't mind doing this now because it's cheap and easy content, but it feels like a lot of negativity. Just every day, here's the new lie, here's the new horrible fucking thing, here's the new terrible, atrocious, crazy, inexplicable, indefensible thing that, I don't know, it just feels super negative. And I don't know, I don't feel like that's a good thing for people to be consuming constantly, you know? But then I also don't like the idea of running from the reality of the situation.
Standards to achieve the highest standards of safety and excellence. That's false. In his first term, Trump left the standards unchanged. For air traffic controllers, the Obama administration in 2013 instituted a new hiring system that introduced a biographical questionnaire to attract minorities underrepresented in the controller corps. The program was criticized, such as in a Fox News report in 2015, as making it harder for more skilled applicants to get hired as controllers. But Trump, in his first term, left the policy in place, leading to a class action lawsuit filed in 2019 by Mountain States Legal Foundation. The case was due to go to trial this year. Moreover, the FAA under Trump in 2019 launched a program to hire controllers using the very criteria he decried at his news conference. The link under targeted disabilities is now dead, but the Wayback Machine retains links from 2017 and January 2021 that show the page was unchanged during Trump's tenure. The list included.
You already fucked up. Let's take a Vyvanse vacation and play some games. When I was off stream, I don't remember if it was this. When I was taking a break from stream for a week, I didn't take any Vyvanse for a week. And bro, I was fiending at the end for some fucking Factorio. Holy shit. I can't tell if I'm just psyoping my brain into it or not. But I'm like, bro, I need to mine some fucking iron. I need to get some fucking refineries going. What the fuck? I almost came back and just did fucking Factorio streams, but...
Again, hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis.
We need more people calling out Trump's bullshit. Do we, though? Maybe. I don't know. We need more people that message on it well, I think. There just needs to be more funny, cool people messaging on it well. Not to fucking jerk myself off, but there just has to be, you have to be able to be, funny and brutal, but, also be liberal and cool. And there's just not many people that do that. I actually can't think of any other person that does that. They're out there, though. They must be. Or if they are out there, they're all the way on the super left. And they're we also hate all the anti-woke stuff, and we're super duper woke too, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Can't you teach that TikTok kid Dean to do it? He does an okay job. A little bit too heavy on the debate bro stuff, though. He needs to be a little cooler. Also, he freaked the fuck out when I said retarded, okay? Not cool. But that woman on CNN, she's okay, but she's also Jewish. You know, we need fighters that are... I'm just kidding.
2021 that showed the page was unchanged during Trump's tenure. The list included, again, hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, dwarfism. The June 2019 webpage for the Aviation Development Program, also removed but still visible on the Wayback Machine, said the program, quote, provides an opportunity for persons with targeted disabilities to gain aviation knowledge and experience as an air traffic control student trainee. Participants would get up to 1 year of experience in Air Route Traffic Control Center with a possibility of getting a temporary appointment at the FAA Academy. In August 2021...
I'd like to see an investigative arc. A return to the Aegon stuff. Well, the Aegon stuff wasn't much of a... Bro, the bot shit on X is so crazy. If you're ever bored sometime... I block so many people on Twitter now. Well, I always was blocking people on Twitter. It's basically the same. But if you ever see people talking shit or saying like whatever crazy random things people say, if you click through an account, so many accounts that are on my replies are just bots. Like some of them will be newly created, or some of them will only have like 3 tweets and they're all retweets like other far right accounts. It's actually insane. It's unhinged. I have no idea like how many of these people are even real on Twitter. It's crazy.
Is an Air Route Traffic Control Center with a possibility of getting a temporary appointment at the FAA Academy. In August 2021, the FAA announced that one of the first 3 ADP candidates graduated from the FAA Academy and became an official air traffic control trainee. The announcement said that the program was conceived when an air traffic control manager met a quadriplegic student who had assumed he would never qualify to be a controller because of his condition. The FAA stressed that participants must meet the same qualifications as any other air traffic controller student. The White House...
Has anything changed with how the left media and alt media covers Trump between 2017 and now? I'm getting deja vu about how it's constant outrage machine with no actual substance. Oh, against Trump? I don't know. I guess I haven't watched too much of them covering him.
The Trump White House, a White House spokesman, declined to comment. Oh my God, the Pinocchio test, the conclusion. Trump claimed that he had changed Obama's criteria for hiring air traffic controllers with greater diversity, when in fact he left it unchanged. Moreover, he decried the fact that the FAA hired controllers with a range of disabilities that he listed at a news conference. But that program was launched during his first term. Folks, you can't make this shit up. You just can't. A broken clock is right twice a day, but you probably should still refer to a functioning clock, right? You probably shouldn't set time by a broken clock just because it's right twice a day. Donald Trump was just wrong. Set aside the bigotry and the cruelty that he once again expresses towards people with disabilities, but even just like granting the dumb premise. You launched the program. That program started under you. Time works one way, folks. One way. Thursday, April 11th, 2019. So this is one of the worst. This is one of the most humiliating fact checks I have ever seen with regards to Donald Trump, who again is a pathological liar par excellence. He has lied more than any single American politician in modern history. So he is riddled with fact checks all the time. This one is one of the most humiliating. And I think that you and I have a moral obligation to make sure it proliferates across the internet. So the next time Donald Trump wants to, pick on people with disabilities and cast aspersions, in addition to calling out the cruelty of it, you should also point out that even by your own dumb right-wing logic, you launched this program, dumbass. Unbelievable. In the
True, but they don't care.
meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.
They always have an out for it. Because they'll just own it. They'll say, yeah, Trump launched it, but the deep state corrupted it or whatever. Click on the house link. Oh, sorry, too late.
This was not just language.
What is this? Don't you have a phone call coming up? 6:45, I think. Did I say that? Helicopter viewpoint, but this is based on the rough data we have for location, and I don't know how to derive helicopter attitude, or is this supposed to be altitude based on velocity? Also, the plane is bigger because the smaller model I had didn't show landing lines. I narrowed the FOV too because of the NVG. Is this supposed to be like a reconstruction of like fucking Arma 3 or something, or? They meant to say attitude? Yeah, because I think attitude can refer to, there's like 20 billion surface areas and axes when it comes to things, so it could be attitude. I don't know, but it might be altitude as well. I have no idea. Attitude is the tilt of the helicopter? Okay, maybe, yeah. He has an updated one with the helicopter turning at the end. What is he making this model in or whatever? Or what is he modeling this in? This plane? Is that what we're talking about? KSP? There's no way. I don't know why. Microsoft Flight Sim? Oh, maybe. Bro, that Microsoft Flight Sim game, that's got some crazy graphics. Holy shit. Wow, that's crazy, bro. Okay. How to count made an airplane point of view too. Okay, don't care. I'm good. We're good on this.